Thank you, Mr. President. I object to public funds being spent for partisan activities, be that a partisan liberal or a partisan conservative or even a affirmatively libertarian organization. And with that in mind, I would like to amend this item to remove the relatively small amounts, but it's the principle that matters. The money we are spending on page 3 of Exhibit A, and these exhibits are not numbered, and I wish for future there would be page numbers, 3 and 9.
Okay, is it under IVC memberships?
There's one in each. IVC.
What office?
And it's, let me tell you, it's the American Library Association. And we're again asked tonight to fund membership of our colleges in the American Library Association, and I propose that we drop this membership. I've done a little research using only public documents, essentially the American Library Association's own website, and have become convinced this is an organization of liberal busybodies acting far outside their field of expertise. It's unusual to see some of the things that the librarians get into, but a fair reading of their website, which you can all find at www.ala.org, and in particular the association's vigorous call for leftist activism, shows an organization outside the mainstream and not supportive of the values of our constituents. For example, they have a document on there titled Free Access to Libraries for Minors, which may sound unobjectionable. When you read it, and let me quote, "The right to use a library includes free access to and unrestricted use of all the services, materials, and facilities the library has to offer. Every restriction based solely on the chronological age of the user violates Article 5 of what they call their so-called Library Bill of Rights. In short, children should have access to any part of the internet, no matter how vile, no matter its contents." What about parents who would like to keep their children away from online porn or online predators? Well, the Library Association has an answer for you. Quote, "Parents who do not want their children to have access to certain library services, materials, or facilities should so advise their children." Close quote. These people must not have children. I remember the scorn with which Nancy Reagan's Just Say No policy was met, and here we have the exact same thing. The Library Association was the losing party in the case of the United States versus American Library Association, decided by the United States Supreme Court in 2003, upholding the Child Internet Protection Act. The ALA's website goes on to explain why it thinks the decision is not particularly authoritative and most libraries need not comply with it. Imagine the howls if a conservative organization had said that about a particular Supreme Court decision it didn't like. Just last week, on January 26, 2006, in a meeting in San Antonio, the governing board, now these are librarians, mind you, passed a resolution opposing academic freedom as expressed in the Academic Bill of Rights. I don't know what you think about the Academic Bill of Rights, Mr. President, but these are librarians, not faculty members. The librarians have also passed resolutions, all on the left side of the political spectrum, on such crucial library topics as torture, critical parts of the Patriot Act, despite the failure of opponents to cite a single example of misuse of a library record, driver's licenses and national ID cards. The librarians have something to say on that. Radio frequency identification technology, whatever that is, but I don't think it's in a library. Gender and sexual orientation, the FCC and media ownership rules, and on library services for the poor. That last one in particular amused me and shows how overreaching busybodies they are. After all, libraries are free. Any of these citations and quotes can be found on the website. I have the sites for my colleagues if they're interested. Mr. President, the ALA has every right to advocate its position, but I don't believe with our taxpayers' hard-earned tax money, I would move that we not fund those two line items.